Okay, we are now live. We're going to be going over Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and I guess Solana. And then if there's anything else afterwards, we're going to go over anything else afterwards. Okay, so Bitcoin first. Monthly candle was good. Tested it, and it's still holding above. Um, this is your untested monthly level. You don't see my screen? Huh, my mistake. I forgot I restarted Discord. Okay. And now we're live. Now we're live. So I just marked the two monthly levels that were watching for, and the other monthly level is 82,000. I won't go further than that for now, but idea right now is that if we approach 102k, if we approach this level, expectation is coming down to 96 at least because they tested it. They tested it at 102. So that is the expectation if they do decide to dump it. But right now it's looking pretty bullish. So we're gonna just push it to the weekly, and we're gonna mark our weekly levels. So first, let me just mark the ones that stand out to me as right now. This 102 level coincides with that monthly. I'll just mark it just cause. Um, Not really interested in these levels here. Interested in this. Interested in this. And interested in this. The weekly levels are in teal. And we just got the weekly close, right? Because this is a weekly close review. And what did we close above? We closed above 108.9. This is basically the all-time high swing. And as of right now, they closed above it and they gave a test of this level right over here. Whoops, that is not my arrow. My arrow is right over here, right? They already tested it and they're trying to bounce it at right now as we speak. You need to see it pump right now if you want to see new all-time highs, right? Because you closed above it, you're back testing it. I don't have any other resistance above, right? So it needs to go now. And if it doesn't go now, then you're probably going to be falling back to maybe around 104, right? Or 102, or even 96, right? I would like to see how it goes, but there is the possibility that it may not hold around here, given we're going to go back to the monthly that they've already tested it, right? So that test can lead to a new low below 98.3, which would go to that monthly level at 96k, right? So that's what you really have to keep in mind. Yes, it could bounce from there, but keep in mind if the bounce doesn't look strong, then you would probably want to look for some type of retest if it doesn't look good to get lower, right? And then below 96 is 86. I don't think it will get there that quickly, but we'll definitely see. Anything can happen in crypto. And now we're going to push it to the daily. So, what has happened? What did we do? Where are we? These are the questions you ask yourself, right? So, what has happened? We tested this daily level here at 110.2. It gave the rejection, right? That's pretty clear. Another daily level I have, this is the last daily level, is 111k, which is a valid spot to short, but I wouldn't short it. If you were, the stop loss would be at the all-time highs, but you're flirting with the all-time highs. It's very likely that you could get stopped out really easily and go. I'd be waiting for some type of failure if you get above, and then if you close back below 111k, then you have a reason to short, and then that would be your stop loss, depending how high we go, right? And there would be more structure, of course. So if it's at 120k and it closes back below 111k, I wouldn't put a stop loss like that. You would have to sort of see what the structure is within that down move, right? So I'm going to remove that for now. And I know Wick, he mentioned that there is a possible rejection here, which I do understand what he is saying. So what was the trend? We had high, then we had the low, and then we had lower high, and we had lower low. And is this going to be a lower high relative to here? Right? That's the question we're asking ourselves. Well, we did test this level and it gave the rejection, right, as expected, which is nice. But what has happened? We closed below this level at 108.3. We did reject it. I was shorting there and then it gave the rejection and then I put my stop loss at that top of the wick rejection, got stopped out. It's okay. Now, we have this other daily level here at 109.4K. What has happened? We closed below it. You failed. You didn't reject at 108.3, and now you're testing this other daily level. And your expectation now is, well, you're gonna ask yourself, well, we lost it. We're retesting it. It's giving another test right now as we speak. What is the trend? Lower high. That's the high. Lower high. Lower high. Is this going to be another lower high here relative to this one right here, right? Relative to there. That is the question you ask yourself. And it is a reasonable reason why you could get away with the short here. And your stop loss could be right here for short. And the expectation then, if you're playing the trend, would be what? Would be new low, right? That's why when we were looking at those monthly levels, that monthly level I was looking at 102.1, they've already tested it on the monthly. So it sort of makes sense to say, hey, I could get away with shorting here and my invalidation is pretty tight. And if I do short here and I put my stop loss at that high there, let's say rejection here, you're looking at another 11% move. So I just want you to keep in mind, it does look good on the weekly given that they closed it. So that is something where maybe the trend does break and we do go higher, but this is where you play your cards. This is where you take your risk. This is where you take a shot and whatever happens. Yeah, you don't know which way it's going to go. You just know, this is what you do know, that we're just making lower lows and lower highs. We closed above the weekly, so you have valid reasons to get long, but then again, why would you want to be shorting? I mean, not shorting. Why would you want to be longing the top of the range, right, at all-time highs? Like, look at the bigger perspective. Like, why are you longing here to what? If you're an investor in Bitcoin and you're like, okay, I'm deciding to invest here, I would think you're retarded, right? It's pretty simple. But if you are looking for a scalp or intraday, yeah, it definitely makes sense. You could get away with the long, and then your invalidation would want to be probably at these lows here, right? Because you have an uptrend. Let me clean up some of the orange for you guys. It's a little bit too orangey in here, if that's even a word. But you do have valid uptrending structure within this leg right here. So this is one of the trends that you're watching, because let's say this is your low, high, and then, well, that would be your high, then be higher low, higher high. This is going to be a higher low here to push up higher and take out this stuff, right? So you do have a reason why this could possibly go up, but you also have a reason why it could go down. It could go either ways. It's just the way you logically have to look at it. I'm not here to spoon feed you every single trade and be like, okay, short here and that, but I just want you to keep in mind of the bigger picture. Is it logical to invest in Bitcoin here? No. Is it logical to take a scalp? Yeah, it could. Is it logical to short? Yeah, you could. It's a very tight position right now for Bitcoin. It could go honestly either way. I have no idea. So can I dump it? Yeah, I could try to dump it. I don't know how many billions you may want me to get out of my ledger, but I'm joking. I don't have billions. But that is my reasoning for Bitcoin right now. Um, I would like to see where it goes. Oh yeah, let's just mark out some of the daily levels on Bitcoin that you would have to watch out for. So we have this daily swing at 105. This is tested. So if you do dump it, honestly, and you start to lose 108, right? You're looking at 105. And then you have 101. But then again, this could be like say you do go down and you do not hold this. Maybe this would be like a dead cat bounce to give a bigger dump to maybe around there. So yeah, that's what I have for Bitcoin. Is there any questions before I move on to Ethereum? Say now or forever hold your peace. And we move on. Okay. Ethereum. I actually like Ethereum. I think you guys know why. The weekly close was actually really good. Well, let's first start with the monthly. We'll just mark out the monthly levels as always. So monthly levels right now would be right here. It'd be this swing, this swing. I've done this 100 times. If you guys been here, right? I've done this enough times where it's like I don't even need to explain it because you've been there. I'll explain it every once in a while. So those are your monthly levels. Okay, weekly levels. So we closed above this swing right here at 25.46. What did it do? It closed above it. It gave a retest of it. And you only have one option here right now for Ethereum. It has to go. Like, this is it, in my opinion. Because we know that this level here is tested, right? From all these wicks over here, right? And you're bouncing, and you closed above the weekly, and now you're bouncing. You do have other weekly support here. Well, like, these are your, like, 2 weekly levels you're watching. So what has basically happened, they tested 25.51, but they didn't test 25.45. So keep in mind, let's say if these weekly levels do hold, it could take out that low, sweep that low, and test 25.46. So like, let's just push it to the 1 hour hypothetically. So you see how they tested 25.41 and it bounced. If it doesn't get some follow through, maybe it's gonna do a sweep and maybe go, and that would be your sweep, for instance, as people like to say. But that's what you could possibly see if we do not go from here right now. If you do, you would want to be longing here. I would put your invalidation right here for the long, because you're targeting going back to the weekly time frame. You closed above. You're giving the retest. You also have this as support too, which is around that monthly at 25.07. So you could long there too if that doesn't work out. But your expectation is that if Ethereum is bullish and things start to look good, you are looking for 18 to 30% move from here, from around current price. So it's at a must-go spot. It's a must-go. And if it's a must-go, it must go. If it might not go, we might chop more or be a must-die such spot. The reason why I say it's a must-die spot is, well, we know these areas here are tested. So this is all tested. And then your only daily resistance is right here at 28.17. You're trending up. You close back above the range. You're retesting the weekly. If it does reject here based off of mainly if Bitcoin does, the thing is that this would be like a new lower low, lower high situation. And if you do lose these lows here, you are coming down to around 24.14 and 25.15. 24.14 and 24.03. So if it doesn't bounce here and it doesn't hold these monthly, weekly levels around this area here, you're coming to here. If this doesn't hold, push it back to the weekly, because now we have formed a new weekly uptrend from here, right? We developed new weekly support right here at 22.26, and you could also get another scenario where this comes back down here, and then we can get the move. I don't know where it's going to go from. Like ideally it's right now right here, but if it doesn't, given on what Bitcoin does, you would want to be longing a weekly level, for instance, like one being here or the ones that are more local. It really depends how Bitcoin behaves. And then if that doesn't hold, this weekly level doesn't hold, I have weekly support here, and I have weekly support here. So we can draw a nice little box around this level. Ka-ching. And it aligns with that monthly, the purple. So yeah, it's a must go for Ethereum. I would like to see this go, to be honest. It's what makes sense to me, given off of the ETH BTC pair. The ETH BTC pair was holding that's more on the weekly. It was bouncing off daily support at the 0.023 sat area, so it has to go. Yeah, I just covered ETH wick. So yeah, so I just covered it. Yeah, so I just if you weren't listening, ETH has to go now, and if it doesn't go now, it is looking for, which chart was I looking at? Yeah, if it doesn't go now, it could come back down to 25.45. You have to rewatch the video, bro. I can't explain that again. Okay. Solana. Clean chart as always. You know what? I'm gonna do the Coinbase chart, because the Coinbase chart did something the Bybit chart didn't do. So Solana came here, tried to take the liquidity here on the Coinbase chart, but on the Bybit chart they didn't. So I don't know what really happened there. Someone just fat fingered it, right? So I would consider that a test of 165. It's sort of more or less the same scenario as Ethereum. It has to go now because they already cleared the liquidity at 165. So we were holding this level here, this order block as people call it, as support. We would like to see this to continue as the trending structure from there, right? We do have monthly resistance here, support here at 124, and we have monthly resistance here and here as well. Let's go to the weekly. Yeah. Weekly resistance here. So I'm gonna remove this daily level. If you lose the box, right? And honestly, if you stay below here at 153, you're gonna push to the box again, and sort of more or less gonna be coming down to 144. You want to hold 144. If that doesn't hold, you actually have weekly support here. Now that I'm looking at it, actually coincides with this level here, 131. But I'll just mark the swing. Swing is more logical. So if you lose the box, you're coming back down to 131 or 124. Given I would like to see how the reactions are, and I know we have weekly support here at 112.42 to 105.79. So that's what I'm looking for Solana. It needs to go now. It's the same situation as Ethereum. Let's see if it goes. If it does pump from here, you are looking to that next weekly level at 175 to even as high as $202. That'd be astonishing for Solana. Given it's been not really doing much compared to, sort of lost its groove, if you had to say. Daily is like same thing really, just like chilling at daily resistance. Yeah, it's sort of like it just needs to break, and if it breaks and it holds, this looks good for higher at least. So that's what it has to do. If you just fail, revert. If it doesn't bounce, you go up. If you fail, then you can do something like this. There's multiple scenarios. You just really have to watch out and manage your risk here. So that's what I have for Solana. Is there any questions or forever hold your peace? Forever hold your peace it is. XRP. What chart do I want to use? I don't think I can use Coinbase chart. Could I use? I think I have to use Binance. Okay, we'll use Binance. Clean chart on the I think the Binance is missing history too. XR. I know. What's it called? Bitstamp has really good history. Okay, we'll use Bitstamp for now. Monthly and monthly, these have been holding really nicely. I think XRP has a potential to pop as well. We know that on the monthly, the top is tested. So if XRP is going to pump, in my opinion, I think it's going to make new all-time highs. I don't know how high it's going to go. I think I was just playing around with fibs the other day, and I have this level $6.06. Don't ask questions why. I just have a level out there. I'll even draw a rectangle around this. Somewhere around here, dude. I don't know where. Somewhere around there. That's what I'm looking at. Don't ask much. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Weekly is good because they tested this weekly here at $1.91, and it tested this weekly here at 215. Same situation again like Ethereum. It's tested pretty much, but we have some weekly resistance here, and we have some weekly resistance here. If you get above 272 on the weekly, you're gonna get that big up move, for instance. So that's the heads up. You just have weekly resistance here. Did the weekly close? The weekly close was good, I guess. It closed above this swing here, and it gave the back test. It has to go. It's like this is it. It has to go from here. And if it doesn't go, it's actually gonna look pretty dumpy to at least back to 201, given that they've already tested $1.15. So if it doesn't bounce here, you're looking at 201. It's at a must-go spot. If it does bounce, you have a target here, 242, 271. I don't think it's you're basically longing the top of the range, but it could break out from here, right? Looks like things are moving a bit as I'm looking at the price history or the prices on the right from my list. So yeah, especially Ethereum looking like it wants to start moving. Yeah, gotta run now that we're on. Oh, you gotta run? Oh, he left. Yeah, that makes sense. Is there any other questions before I end the stream? Would you guys like me to cover anything else? Oh yeah, it looks like it's moving. Everything's moving right now. It does look bullish, bro. Like, what do you have to say about this? Unless it does a lower high here, but it was a must dump spot here. It looks like it's gonna go to what do you call it? 111. If it doesn't reject here, that'd be a pretty nasty double top here if it does, but if it breaks this high, it's probably going to push to the 111. Yeah, that's why I was saying it must go now. That's why it's like starting to move a bit. Pretty interesting, huh? Once you start to understand the logic of it, I think things start to clear up. Um, that's why you're the same thing you're looking at, like for Ethereum. Is this going to be a lower high here relative to here? And if it would be, it would be pretty dirty, because it might need something more than just rejecting here to get a bigger move up. Sometimes it's not as easy to get those big swings. Maybe because the bigger swings usually come from a lower spot, right? Yeah, the lower spot could have been here, but like the lower spot as well could be like here. Then get that bigger move. That's more juicy in my opinion, for instance. But it doesn't mean anything. What do I know? It's all empty and meaningless. You only give meaning to what you want to mean in your life. So, and whatever makes sense to you. But yeah. Any other questions, guys? Lukey, hi retired. How are you? All good. Yeah, I hope it's clear. Yeah, I think you guys have like your. I hope like what I hope you guys get from this is just for you guys to be prepared, and then you also can think logically as well. I think that's the most important thing. Being able, like the way I think is could be totally different than the way you think, but for you to be independent of your own thoughts by like me basically telling you this is what you have to watch out for, and you start to understand how the price works, then you can have your own thought and be able to do things on your own. You don't have to be dependent on my streams. Like I wanted to get to the point for you guys where you're like, oh, I don't need the streams here. I could do it all on my own. I totally get what is happening. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a pleasure. But yeah, I'm actually like just watching it. Let's see. Let's see what happens. I am really curious to see what happens here. If it goes, it goes. It has to go for Ethereum. They've really cleared it all from this point on, and they just back tested weekly support. So back testing weekly support should give it enough juice for it to just pump at least from here, right? Because I always say it time and time again, like the weekly levels and the monthly levels give you the trend. So this is the trend, right? The trend ideally would be from here, right? You start a new trend. Oh, what is Bitcoin doing? Are they rejecting? LOL. Well, try and make a lower high here. Maybe they attempt it again, but it would actually that would be a top. Like I wouldn't be surprised if this is a top if it just doesn't dump from here. If it does dump from here, like I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, but now you know. So like, this is how you have to think of it logically. So they gave the lower high here, right? So basically, like this is basically considered a test, right? Because I'm just looking at the 3 minute, right? That's a test of that swing right there, right? So the liquidity is now gone from this swing. There's no more limit sells. There's no more liquidity there. So now if you were going to short here, your stop losses your stop loss is here, because you know next time they attempt, it's probably going to be a new high, right? See, you're retired. Yeah, that's the attempt. It's if they don't reject it from here now, this is the high. So next time they go back above there, if they making you high, then I'm thinking you're getting 111K. But I know Lukey likes to take shorts on my stream, so he probably shorted the top. Did you, Lukey? He was like, okay, lower high, and then put his stop right there. Oh yeah, yeah. My God. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. Okay, I'm gonna end the video, but you guys are more than down to hang out right here with me.